Captain Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, watching the stars through the main screen. The ship moved slowly through space near the edge of human territory. Everything looked peaceful. Too peaceful, maybe. "Captain, we are getting something on the long-range sensors," said Navigator So-young from her station. She looked at her screen with a worried face. "It looks like a signal, but it is very weak." Hyunwoo walked over to her station. He had been the captain of this warship for 2 years now. The Indomitable was one of the newest ships in the human fleet. It had the best weapons and shields that Earth could build. But they had never used them in a real fight. "Can you make the signal stronger?" Hyunwoo asked. So-young worked on her controls. "I think so, Captain. Give me a moment." Her fingers moved quickly over the buttons. After a few seconds, a voice came through the speakers. It sounded scared and desperate. "This is Admiral Veltar of the Kalari Federation. Our world is under attack. We need help. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help right now." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing and listened. The voice continued speaking, but it was hard to understand because of the static. "The Vorthak Empire has invaded our system. They are destroying our ships. Our people are dying. We cannot fight them alone. Please help us." Communications Officer Taeho turned to the captain. "Sir, should I try to answer them?" Hyunwoo thought for a moment. The Kalari were known throughout the galaxy as peaceful aliens. They were doctors and scientists, not fighters. 3 years ago, when a terrible sickness spread through human colonies, the Kalari had sent medicine and doctors to help. They saved millions of human lives and asked for nothing in return. "Yes, try to contact them," Hyunwoo said. Taeho worked on his equipment. After a minute, he shook his head. "I cannot reach them, Captain. The signal is too weak. They are very far away." Chief Engineer Dongmin looked up from his station. "Captain, I can boost our communication power, but it will take some time." "Do it," Hyunwoo ordered. While Dongmin worked, Hyunwoo called his senior officers to the bridge. Weapons Officer Yoonji arrived first. She was young but very good at her job. Tactical Officer Miran came next, followed by Chief Science Officer Jun-ki. "You all heard the message," Hyunwoo said. "The Kalari need help. What do we know about the Vorthak Empire?" Jun-ki spoke first. "The Vorthak are a military race, Captain. They have been taking over other planets for many years. They use big ships and powerful weapons. Most species are afraid of them." "How big is their fleet?" asked Yoonji. "Very big," Miran answered. "Intelligence reports say they have hundreds of warships, maybe thousands. They are much stronger than most alien races." Hyunwoo nodded slowly. "And what about the Kalari? How many ships do they have?" "Not many fighting ships," Jun-ki said sadly. "The Kalari build ships for exploration and medicine. They are not made for war." The captain walked to the main screen and looked at the stars again. He thought about the human colonies where Kalari doctors had saved so many lives. He thought about his own daughter, who had been sick during the plague. A Kalari doctor had given her the medicine that saved her life. "Captain," Dongmin called out, "I have boosted the communication system. We can try to contact the Kalari now." "Do it," Hyunwoo said. Taeho sent a message toward Kalari space. They waited for several minutes. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was the same alien they had heard before, but now his voice was clearer. "This is Admiral Veltar. Who is speaking to us?" "This is Captain Hyunwoo of the human warship Indomitable. We received your distress call. What is your situation?" There was a long pause. Then Veltar spoke again, and his voice sounded surprised. "Humans, you are very far from your territory. Captain, you must leave this area immediately. The Vorthak will destroy any ship that helps us." "Tell me about the attack," Hyunwoo said. "They came without warning 3 days ago. A large fleet of warships. They demanded that we surrender our world to them. When we refused, they began attacking our cities and ships. We have tried to fight, but our weapons are not strong enough. Many of our people are already dead." Yoonji looked at the captain. "Sir, we could help them. The Indomitable is stronger than most alien ships." Miran shook her head. "But there is only one of us. If the Vorthak have a large fleet, We cannot fight them all. Captain? Veltar's voice came through the speakers again. Are you still there? Yes, Admiral, we are here. Please, Captain Hyunwoo, you must not come here. This is not your war. Take your ship and go back to human space. Tell your people what happened here, but do not try to help us. We do not want more good people to die because of us. Hyunwoo closed his eyes for a moment. He knew that his orders were to patrol the border and report any problems to Earth Command. He was not supposed to get involved in alien wars. But he also knew that the Kalari had risked their own ships to help humans when they needed it. How long before the Vorthak completely take over your world? He asked. Maybe 2 days? Maybe less. Our remaining ships cannot hold them back much longer. The captain turned to his crew. Opinions? So Young spoke first. The Kalari helped us when we needed it. Maybe we should help them too. But we could start a war between humans and the Vorthak, Miran said. Earth Command will not be happy. Dongmin looked at his captain. Sir, this ship was built to protect people. Maybe it does not matter if they are human or alien. Hyunwoo made his decision. Admiral Veltar, we are coming to help you. Captain, no, it is too dangerous. We will be there in 6 hours. Try to hold on until then. Hyunwoo turned to his crew. Set course for the Kalari system. Maximum speed. So Young looked worried. Captain, this could be considered an act of war. Then we better make sure we win, Hyunwoo said. All stations, prepare for combat. We are going into a war zone. The Indomitable turned toward Kalari space and jumped into faster-than-light travel. Behind them, the peaceful patrol route disappeared. Ahead of them waited a battle that would change everything. The Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kalari system. What Captain Hyunwoo saw on the main screen made his stomach feel sick. Explosions lit up the darkness of space like deadly fireworks. Kalari ships, small and silver, tried to fight against massive Vorthak warships that looked like flying mountains made of dark metal. The alien ships were 3 times bigger than anything in the human fleet. Captain, Tactical Officer Miran said, her voice quiet with shock. I count 47 Vorthak warships. The Kalari have maybe 12 ships left. Hyunwoo watched as a Kalari medical ship tried to escape from 2 Vorthak destroyers. The small silver ship moved quickly, but the Vorthak ships were faster. Energy beams from the destroyers hit the medical ship, and it exploded in a ball of fire. Those were doctors, whispered Medical Officer Hye-jin, who had just arrived on the bridge. They were trying to save people, not fight. Communications Officer Taeho looked up from his station. Captain, I am getting a signal from the Kalari flagship. Put it through, Hyunwoo ordered. Admiral Veltar's voice filled the bridge, but now it sounded tired and full of pain. Human ship, you should not have come here. Look around you. This is what happens when someone fights the Vorthak Empire. Leave now before they see you. We came to help, Hyunwoo said. What do you need us to do? There is nothing you can do. We are finished. In 1 hour, maybe 2, all our ships will be destroyed. Then they will attack our planet and kill everyone there. Chief Science Officer Jun Ki was studying the battle on his sensors. Captain, I am seeing something interesting about the Vorthak ships. What is it? Their weapons are powerful, but they are old. Very old. And their shields work differently from ours. They might not be ready for human technology. Weapons Officer. Yoonji looked at her control panels. Sir, our plasma cannons are much faster than their energy weapons. And our missiles use different targeting systems. They might not be able to stop them. Navigator So Young was watching the Vorthak ships move. Captain, look at how they fight. They just move in straight lines and shoot. They do not use any smart tactics. Hyunwoo studied the battle more carefully. So Young was right. The Vorthak ships moved like they were following a script. Big ship goes here, shoots there, moves to the next target. They did not change their plan when the Kalari tried different things. Miran, how long have the Vorthak been using these same battle tactics? He asked. Miran checked her computer files. According to intelligence reports, they have fought the same way for over 200 years. They win because they have bigger ships and more weapons, not because they are smart fighters. And they have never fought humans before, added Junki. They do not know what our ships can do. Hyunwoo felt a plan forming in his mind. It was dangerous, maybe crazy, but it might work. Yoonji, how many missiles do we have? 200 plasma missiles, Captain, and unlimited shots for the plasma cannons. Dongmin, can you boost our shield power? The chief engineer looked at his controls. Yes, sir. I can redirect power from other systems. Our shields will be 50% stronger than normal. So Young, how fast can this ship move? Much faster than those Vorthak ships, Captain. We can outrun anything they have. Hyunwoo turned back to the communication system. Admiral Veltar, I need you to do something for me. What? Get all your remaining ships behind our position. When I give the signal, I want them to run toward your planet as fast as they can. Captain Hyunwoo, what are you planning? We are going to show the Vorthak what happens when they attack our friends. There was a long silence. Then Veltar spoke, again. You have one ship. They have 47. This is suicide. Maybe. But the Kalari saved my daughter's life during the plague. Now it is time for humans to return the favor. Hyunwoo turned to his crew. Red alert. All stations ready for combat. Hyunji, target the biggest Vorthak ship you can find. Miran, I want you to watch how they react when we attack. So Young, be ready to move us fast. Captain, Taeho said, I am getting a transmission from the Vorthak fleet. They want to talk to us. Let me hear it. A deep, rough voice came through the speakers. It sounded angry and mean. Unknown ship, this is Fleet Commander Grokhan of the Vorthak Empire. You are in a restricted war zone. Leave immediately or be destroyed. Hyunwoo smiled, but it was not a happy smile. This is Captain Hyunwoo of the human warship Indomitable. We are here to protect the Kalari people. If you want us to leave, you will have to make us. The Vorthak commander laughed, a horrible sound like rocks grinding together. Humans? We have heard of your species. You are new to space travel. You know nothing about real war. Your small ship cannot fight the mighty Vorthak Empire. We will see about that, Hyunwoo said. Yoonji, fire when ready. The weapons officer pressed her controls. 20 plasma missiles shot out from the Indomitable toward the Vorthak flagship. The missiles moved much faster than Vorthak weapons, and they used targeting systems that the aliens had never seen before. The Vorthak tried to shoot down the missiles, but their weapons were too slow. 18 missiles hit the flagship's shields, and the massive ship shook like it had been hit by a planet. Impossible, Grokhan's voice shouted through the communication system. Our shield should have stopped those weapons. Junki, what happened to their shield? Hyunwoo asked. The science officer looked at his readings. Their shield power dropped by 30%, Captain. Our missiles work much better against their technology than they expected. The entire Vorthak fleet stopped moving. For a moment, the battle became quiet as the aliens tried to understand what had just happened. One small human ship had hurt their most powerful warship. All Vorthak ships, attack the human vessel, Grokhan ordered. 47 massive warships turned toward the Indomitable. Their weapons began charging with a sound like thunder. So Young, move us now, Hyunwoo ordered. The Indomitable jumped forward with speed that surprised even the crew. The ship moved so fast that the Vorthak weapons missed completely. Energy beams that could destroy a city hit empty space. Yoonji, hit them again. More missiles flew from the human ship. This time they targeted 3 different Vorthak ships. The aliens tried to dodge, but their ships were too big and slow. Explosions lit up their hulls as human weapons found their targets. Admiral Veltar's voice came through the communication system, full of amazement. Incredible, how is one ship doing this? Because we are human, Hyunwoo said, and we do not give up when our friends need help. Captain Hyunwoo made a decision that changed everything. All weapons fire at will. Show them what human engineering can do. The Indomitable became a blur of motion in space. Navigator So Young used the ship's advanced engines to jump from place to place faster than the Vorthak could follow. Every few seconds, the human ship appeared somewhere new and fired its weapons. Weapons Officer Yoonji worked like an artist painting with explosions. Her plasma cannons fired in patterns that confused the enemy ships. When 3 Vorthak destroyers tried to surround the Indomitable, she hit all 3 at the same time with missiles that curved around their shields. "How are they doing this?" Fleet Commander Grokhan shouted over the communication system. His voice sounded scared now instead of angry. "Our weapons cannot hit them." Tactical Officer Miran watched the enemy ships on her screen. "Captain, they are trying to use the same tactics they always use. But those tactics do not work against a ship that can move like ours." Chief Engineer Dong Min had made the ship's engines work better than ever before. He had also boosted the weapons so they could fire faster and hit harder. "Captain, our systems are working at 120%. We can keep this up for hours." But Hyunwoo knew they could not fight 47 ships forever, no matter how good their technology was. He needed a better plan. "Junki, scan their flagship. Find me something I can use." Chief Science Officer Junki pointed his sensors at the biggest Vorthak ship. "Captain, their flagship is the command center for the whole fleet. If we could disable it, the other ships would not know what to do. Can we get close enough? It will be dangerous. They have put 6 ships around it to protect it." Hyunwoo looked at the main screen. The Vorthak flagship was huge, bigger than a human city. It had enough weapons to destroy a planet, but it also looked old and slow. "So Young, can you get us behind that flagship?" The navigator studied her controls. "Yes, sir, but we will have to go through those 6 guard ships. Yoonji, prepare everything we have. I want to hit that flagship with enough power to knock it out of the fight." "Captain," Communications Officer Taeho said, "Admiral Veltar is trying to contact us. Put him through." "Captain Hyunwoo, what are you doing?" "You are 1 ship against their entire fleet. We are buying time for your people to escape," Hyunwoo said. "Get your remaining ships to your planet. Protect the civilians. But you will be destroyed." "Maybe. But we have to try." Medical Officer Heejin looked up from her station. "Captain, I am detecting life signs on some of the damaged Vorthak ships. There are survivors." Hyunwoo thought for a moment. Even in battle, humans tried to save lives when they could. "After we finish this attack, we will help anyone who needs medical care, human or alien." "Even the Vorthak?" Heejin asked. "Even the Vorthak. We are not here to commit murder. We are here to stop them from committing murder." The Indomitable moved toward the Vorthak flagship. The 6 guard ships fired everything they had at the human warship. Energy beams and missiles filled the space around them. But So Young flew the ship like it was a small fighter instead of a warship. She used gravity from nearby asteroids to change direction quickly. She made the ship spin and dive in ways that confused the enemy targeting systems. "Now," Hyunwoo ordered. Yoonji fired every weapon the ship had. 50 missiles and a full spread of plasma cannon shots hit the Vorthak flagship at the same time. The massive ship's shields flashed and then disappeared. Explosions covered the hull like lightning. Inside the Vorthak flagship, lights went out. Their main computer system stopped working. The ship began to drift without power. "All Vorthak ships, this is your flagship." Grokhan's voice came through their communication system, but now it sounded weak and full of static. "I cannot control the fleet. Each ship commander must decide what to do." Some of the Vorthak ships kept fighting, but others stopped shooting and just sat in space. They had never been in a battle where their flagship was disabled. They did not know what to do. Without orders, "Captain," Miran said, "half of their fleet has stopped fighting. The other half is trying to retreat. Taeho, send a message to all Vorthak ships." "Ready, sir." "This is Captain Hyunwoo. We do not want to destroy your ships or kill your people. Stop your attack on the Kalari and we will stop fighting you. Continue the attack and we will disable every ship in your fleet." There was silence for several minutes. Then different Vorthak ships began to answer. "This is Commander Vorkech. We surrender. Do not attack our ship. This is Captain Melgarn. Our weapons are powered down. We will not fight anymore." One by one, most of the Vorthak ships surrendered. But 5 ships, led by a large destroyer, moved toward the Kalari planet. "Those ships are not stopping," So Young said. "Then we stop them," Hyunwoo replied. All power, 2 engines. The Indomitable raced after the 5 Vorthak ships. They were heading for the Kalari planet, where millions of peaceful aliens lived in cities that had no military defenses. Yun-ji, target their engines only. I want to disable them, not destroy them. The weapons officer aimed carefully. Her shots hit the engines of the lead destroyer, and the ship stopped moving. The other 4 ships kept going. Captain, Haijin said, there are civilian ships leaving the planet. Kalari families trying to escape. On the main screen, Hyunwoo could see small Kalari ships rising from their world. They moved slowly because they were carrying people, not weapons. The 4 remaining Vorthak ships were getting ready to attack them. So young, maximum speed. We have to get there first. The Indomitable shot forward faster than ever before. Dongmin pushed the engines beyond their normal limits. The ship reached the fleeing Kalari civilians just as the Vorthak ships arrived. This is Captain Hyunwoo to the Vorthak ships. You will not harm those civilians. Human ship, came a reply. You cannot protect everyone. We will complete our mission. We will see about that. What happened next would be talked about in both human and alien history books for years to come. The Indomitable placed itself between the Vorthak warships and the civilian ships full of Kalari families. 1 human ship against 4 alien warships. But the humans had something the Vorthak had never seen before. The complete willingness to risk everything to protect innocent lives. All weapons ready, Hyunwoo said quietly. If they want to hurt those families, they will have to go through us first. The 4 Vorthak warships faced the single human ship that stood between them and the fleeing Kalari civilians. For a moment, space was completely quiet, except for the sound of engines. Human Captain, the lead Vorthak commander said through the communication system, move your ship or we will destroy it. These are our final orders. Captain Hyunwoo looked at the civilian ships on his screen. He could see families inside them through the transparent sections. Kalari children pressed, their faces against the windows, scared but safe for now. My answer is no, Hyunwoo said simply. You will not touch those people. The Vorthak ships opened fire. What happened next surprised everyone, including the human crew. The Indomitable did not try to dodge or run away. Instead, it moved toward the Vorthak ships while shooting back. Navigator So Young had studied the enemy ship movements for hours. She knew exactly how they would attack. When their weapons fired, she moved the ship to places where the shots would miss. Weapons officer. Yunji did something that no alien species had ever seen before. She fired the ship's weapons not to destroy the enemy ships but to protect the civilians behind them. Her plasma cannon shots hit incoming Vorthak missiles and destroyed them in space. How is that possible? One of the Vorthak commanders asked. Over the communication system. No one can shoot down missiles in flight. Humans can, Yunji said quietly as she destroyed 3 more enemy missiles with perfect shots. Chief Engineer Dongmin watched his control panels carefully. The ship was using more power than it was designed for, but everything was holding together. Captain, I can give you more speed if you need it. Save it for now, Hyunwoo replied. Let me try something first. He opened a communication channel to all the ships in the area, both Vorthak and Kalari. This is Captain Hyunwoo of the Earthship Indomitable. I want everyone to understand something. Humans do not start wars, but we will finish them if we have to. You are just 1 ship, the Vorthak commander shouted. Look at your fleet, Hyunwoo said calmly. Look at your flagship drifting powerless. Look at the ships we have already disabled. Now ask yourself if you really want to find out what 1 human ship can do when you threaten innocent families. While they talked, Medical Officer Haijin was busy with something else. She had been monitoring the disabled Vorthak ships and found that many aliens were hurt and needed medical help. Captain, permission to help the wounded on the enemy ships? Hyunwoo thought for a moment. They were still in the middle of a battle, but people were dying. Do it. Send medical drones to any ship that needs help. Even the Vorthak who were trying to kill us? Especially them. Show them that humans value life more than revenge. Small medical drones launched from the Indomitable toward the damaged Vorthak ships. The drones carried medicine and equipment to help the wounded aliens. At first, the Vorthak ships tried to shoot down the medical drones, but when they realized the drones were there to help, not attack, they let them approach. "This is insane," one Vorthak captain said over the communication system. "Why are you helping us? We are your enemies." "No," Hyunwoo replied. "You were attacking innocent people. That made you wrong, not our enemies. There is a difference." The 4 Vorthak ships that were still fighting began to slow down. Their commanders were confused by what they were seeing. In all their years of conquest, no enemy had ever stopped fighting to help wounded Vorthak soldiers. "Captain," Communications Officer Taeho said, "I am getting a message from Earth Command." "Put it through." Admiral Park's voice came through the speakers. She sounded very worried. "Captain Hyunwoo, what is your status? We received reports that you engaged an alien fleet without authorization." "That is correct, Admiral. The situation required immediate action." "Captain, you could start a war between Earth and the Vorthak Empire." "With respect, Admiral, the war was already happening. We just chose which side to help." There was a long pause. Then Admiral Park spoke again. "Captain, you have 6 more human ships heading to your location. They left Earth 3 hours ago against my direct orders." Hyunwoo felt surprised. 6 ships? Apparently, news of your actions reached other ship captains. They decided that if the Indomitable was going to help the Kalari, they wanted to help too. Tactical Officer Miran looked up from her screen. "Captain, I am detecting 6 human ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. It looks like the destroyers Seoul, Busan, and Daegu, plus 3 cruisers." The main screen showed the new human ships arriving. They immediately moved to support the Indomitable. Captain Jin Ho of the Seoul sent a message. "Captain Hyunwoo, we heard you were having a party out here. We did not want to miss it." "Good to see you, Jin Ho. But you all just ended your careers by coming here." "Maybe, but some things are more important than careers." The arrival of more human ships changed everything. The 4 Vorthak ships that were still fighting suddenly found themselves facing 7 human warships instead of 1. "All Vorthak ships," Hyunwoo said over the communication system. "You now have a choice. Surrender and receive medical help for your wounded, or continue fighting against odds that have just gotten much worse for you." Fleet Commander Grokhan's voice came from his damaged flagship. "Human captains, I want to talk to your leader." "You are talking to him," Hyunwoo replied. "No, I mean your real leader, the one who sent you here." "No one sent us here. We came because it was the right thing to do." Grokhan was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke again, and his voice sounded different, less angry, more confused. "You came here to help strangers. Without orders? Without payment? The Kalari helped us when we needed it. Now we help them. But you risked your ships, your careers, your lives. For aliens you barely know." "That is what friends do," Hyunwoo said simply. The remaining 4 Vorthak ships stopped fighting. One by one, they powered down their weapons and asked for medical assistance for their crews. Admiral Veltar's voice came through the communication system. He sounded like he could not believe what had happened. "Human ships, the Vorthak fleet is retreating. Our planet is safe. How can we ever thank you? Help us build a galaxy where this does not happen to anyone else," Hyunwoo answered. But the captain knew this was just the beginning. Word of what happened here would spread to every species in the galaxy. Some would be grateful, others would be afraid of human military power, and some would want to test it. The Indomitable had entered a war zone as a single ship on patrol. Now 7 human ships sat in space, surrounded by grateful Kalari and defeated Vorthak, having changed the balance of power in their entire region of the galaxy. "Captain," So Young said quietly, "what happens now?" Hyunwoo looked at the Kalari planet, where lights were coming back on in the cities as families realized they were safe. "Now we find out what kind of galaxy we want to live in." 3 months later, Captain Hyunwoo stood in a courtroom on Earth. The charges against him were serious: starting an unauthorized military action, risking an interstellar war, and disobeying direct orders. If found guilty, He would spend years in prison. But something had changed in those 3 months. The story of the Indomitable and the Battle of Kalari had spread across human space and beyond. Every day, new reports came in from alien worlds. Admiral Park, who was now testifying at the trial, did not look angry anymore. She looked tired, but also proud. Captain Hyunwoo's actions were against military regulations, she told the court. However, the results of those actions have changed humanity's position in the galaxy completely. The prosecutor, a stern woman named Colonel Yu, asked, "In what way, Admiral?" "In the past 3 months, we have received formal requests for alliance from 17 different alien species. All of them heard about what happened at Kalari. They want human protection from aggressive empires like the Vorthak." "And what about the Vorthak Empire itself?" Admiral Park looked at Captain Hyunwoo before answering. "They sent diplomatic representatives to Earth 2 weeks ago. For the first time in their history, the Vorthak Empire wants to negotiate instead of fight." The defense lawyer, Commander Lee, stood up. "Admiral, please tell the court about the medical exchange program. The Kalari have shared their advanced medical technology with us. In return, we are providing them with defensive weapons and training. Similar agreements are being negotiated with other species. And the economic benefits? Enormous. Trade with our new alien allies has increased human prosperity by 30% in just 3 months. But the most important testimony came from an unexpected source. Admiral Veltar had traveled all the way from Kalari space to speak at the trial. This tall, thin alien stood in the courtroom wearing special equipment that let him breathe human air. When he spoke, his words were translated by a computer, but his emotions were clear to everyone. "Captain Hyunwoo saved not just my world but my family," Veltar said. "My children were on one of the civilian ships that the Vorthak tried to attack. Without human intervention, they would be dead now." The prosecutor tried to argue that good results did not excuse breaking military rules, but the judge, General Kim, seemed more interested in other questions. "Captain Hyunwoo," the judge said, "do you regret your actions?" Hyunwoo stood up. "No, sir. I regret that it took so long for us to help." "Even knowing the legal consequences?" "Yes, sir. Some things are more important than following rules." "Like what?" "Like keeping promises to friends. Like protecting innocent people. Like showing the galaxy that humans can be trusted." The trial lasted 3 days. On the final day, the courtroom was packed with people from all over Earth. Outside, crowds gathered to hear the verdict. When General Kim read the decision, his voice was serious but not angry. "Captain Hyunwoo, this court finds you guilty of disobeying orders and engaging in unauthorized military action." The crowd became quiet. Hyunwoo prepared to hear his sentence. "However," the judge continued, "this court also recognizes that your actions brought great benefit to humanity and saved innocent lives. Therefore, you are sentenced to time served with a formal reprimand in your record." The courtroom exploded with cheers. But the judge was not finished. "Furthermore, Captain Hyunwoo, you are hereby promoted to Admiral and placed in command of the new Galactic Defense Fleet." A month later, Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of his new flagship, the UES Guardian. The ship was twice as large as the Indomitable and carried a crew from 7 different alien species working alongside humans. Navigator So Young, now Commander So Young, looked up from her station. "Admiral, we are receiving a distress call from the Miran system. Pirates are attacking a colony world." "Human colony?" asked Admiral Hyunwoo. "No, sir. Thrakari. They are asking for human help." Weapons Officer Yunji, now a full commander, smiled. "Admiral, the Guardian's weapons are ready." Chief Engineer Dong Min, Hyunwoo said to his old friend, who had also been promoted, "How long to reach the Miran system?" 4 hours at maximum. "Speed, Admiral." Medical Officer Hye Jin looked up from her station where she was training a young Kalari doctor. "Sir, medical teams from 3 species are ready to help anyone who needs it." Admiral Hyunwoo looked around the bridge at his mixed crew of humans and aliens. They all wore the same uniform and worked toward the same goal, protecting innocent people from those who would harm them. Set course for Mirren, he ordered. Maximum speed. As the Guardian jumped into faster-than-light travel, Admiral Hun Wu thought about how much had changed since that day, when the Indomitable first heard the Kalari distress call. The Vorthak Empire was now part of the Galactic Defense Alliance. After learning about human ideas of honor and protecting the innocent, many Vorthak soldiers had asked to serve on human ships. It turned out that once they stopped following orders to attack peaceful worlds, they were excellent warriors. Fleet. Commander Grokon, the Vorthak who had fought against them at Kalari, was now Captain Grokon of the UES Defender. His ship patrolled the border between Alliance space and the territories of species that still believed in conquest. Admiral, Communications Officer Teho said, "We are getting reports from all over the galaxy. More species want to join the Alliance every day. Any problems?" "A few. The Krellian Empire says we are interfering with their traditional hunting rights. They claim other species are their natural prey." Admiral Hyun Woo sighed. There would always be someone who thought they had the right to hurt others. Send them the standard message. The Alliance protects everyone who asks for protection. If they want to hunt something, they can hunt space pirates. Yes, sir. The Guardian dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the Mirren system. 3. Pirate ships were attacking a peaceful colony world, just like the Vorthak had attacked Kalari months before. But this time was different. This time, the pirates faced not just one human ship, but a fleet of Alliance vessels crewed by humans. Kalari, reformed Vorthak, and half a dozen other species who had learned that working together made everyone stronger. Pirate ships, Admiral Hyunwoo said over the communication system. This is the Galactic Defense Alliance. Stop your attack immediately and prepare to be boarded. The lead pirate captain laughed. Alliance? What alliance? You are just humans, and they're alien pets. Look at your sensors, Admiral Hyunwoo replied calmly. Look at how many ships we have. Look at how many species are working together. Then ask yourself if you really want to find out what happens to people who attack innocent families. The pirates looked at their sensors. They saw 12 Alliance ships, each one carrying weapons and crew members, who had learned to fight as one united force. The pirates surrendered without firing a shot. Later, as they helped repair the damage to the Thrakari colony, Admiral Hyunwoo received a message from Admiral Veltar on Kalari. My friend, the alien admiral said, you have built something wonderful, a galaxy where the strong protect the weak instead of preying on them. We built it together, Hyunwoo replied. Humans, Kalari, Vorthak, and everyone else who believes that all life has value. What will you call it? Admiral Hyunwoo looked out at the stars where Alliance ships from a dozen different species patrolled together in peace. We will call it home. That night, as the Guardian traveled to its next assignment, the crew shared dinner in the common area. Humans sat next to Kalari, who sat next to Vorthak, who sat next to Thrakari. Children from different species played together while their parents talked about their worlds and their hopes for the future. Commander So Young sat next to Admiral Hyunwoo. Do you ever think about what would have happened if we had not answered that first distress call? Hyunwoo looked around at the mixed crew, at the peace and friendship that had grown from one decision to help strangers in need. I try not to think about that. I prefer to think about what we can build tomorrow. Outside the ship, stars shone, on a galaxy that was learning that strength and compassion together were more powerful than strength alone. And in that galaxy, the human warship that had once entered a war zone now led a fleet that made war zones into places of peace. The Indomitable had shown the galaxy what one ship could do. The Alliance would show them what united worlds could accomplish together.